So we're going to do a review of playing the game Kepler 3042, and we just finished a three-player game of this, and we had a good time.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I like it.
You won.
I did win.
He did win.
I think that makes me just like it just a little bit more.
I'm sure. No pieces got thrown during the game or anything like that.
Table flip.
What did you find the most difficult thing about the game?
The most difficult thing is that on every turn, you want to do two things. You can't. You always want to do two things, but then you only get to do 16 things in the entire game. But you want to do 36.
Yeah, it really felt like that for
it's
me
like,
too.
I want to do this and this and then this, but I also want to do this when I'm going to have time for that. The game's almost over.
Yeah, the way, I mean, for those who know how the game works, is that you get to do one action during your turn, but you could always spend cubes that you really can't get back very easily to do extra actions, but they're not necessarily the same actions most of the time as the main actions. And you have to do those afterwards. So sometimes you want to do this one really bad before you do this, but you just can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself in that same situation. What did you think about the pieces themselves?
The pieces are really nice. They're like...
Oh yeah, the rocket chips?
Yeah.
I like the rocket chips.
And if you hold it the other way, it kind of looks like a rabbit.
I know. I didn't see that until Mom and you had pointed that out to
funny.
me. The medals are cool, and
Yes.
the interesting thing is the way the track works. I was very far behind in colonizing planets in the game, but I was high up here, so I didn't feel like I was too far behind. So I think sometimes you may feel like you're very far behind other players in one thing.
But then you might be catching up on another thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Another thing that I think could have been a little bit of a change
Mm-hmm.
is because the science track is a bit more difficult to raise than the purple track. The
colonization track.
colonization track, that the science track should be worth more points. Having two separate point tracks.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It was harder to get.
Yeah. Yeah, because
in this game it wasn't. We had
we had a lot,
but
the cards came up at the right time. Yeah, because you don't get any of the science until you get very far developed in science, unless you do this galactic mapping, which gets you up a little bit at a time, or if you spend a lot. So I could see maybe this being a little bit more.
I feel like maybe like everything goes up by 1 point or something, or just have two different tracks.
One thing though I felt is that so many of the other reviews and playthroughs I've seen of this game, people are very reticent about putting anything into the pit. What do they call it? The Clausius pit, because you don't get it back. But I think it's almost mandatory. You have to be able to throw things away in the game.
Before the end of the game, where it just didn't matter anymore, I had like 5 or 6 in there, and then at the end of the game, I'm like, I don't care because there's like one more turn left.
Right.
But like
and
during
so
the game, I had 5 or 6, and it actually really helped me because, like, if you don't have a spaceship, you could do the space logistics action, which is build a ship for free.
All right.
Which is really nice, and it could also be anywhere.
As long as you have the planet colonized.
colonized planet way far out.
That's a
that
huge
you don't
benefit.
have any resources on, and you already have another ship out there.
Yeah.
So keep going.
I think the order in which, when you have two things that you have to do, you have to decide which order am I going to do it. I think the other main thing about this game is that when you're doing some of the important actions like colony seeding or terraforming, to do it on just one planet at a time isn't so beneficial if you can get it to be together.
I waited. I had a double colonization seed, a single, and then a double. So I only used 3 actions to colonize
all 5
places.
That's the other thing, is that you have
only 5 places.
Only 5 places. But really, by the time you're at round 16, that's the thing. You're at round 14, 15, and you're like, I wish I
gotta colonize more.
I gotta colonize. If I had a couple extra, I would have terraformed the planets, because I spent so much time upping my technology.
You always just need that extra turn.
But we had a great time, and I would give this game a double thumbs up. What about you?
Yeah, I like it. Or just one more
critique?
That I think is a little... Or it's not a critique, it's just like a difficult thing to achieve in the game.
All right.
Is that I forgot about the alien colonies getting up high.
Oh,
so at the very end of the game, I'm like, oh wait, so I had to like devote like 3 turns just to get that up.
Yes, you have to remember every little element to make everything work. And of course, the other thing was your special cards, the was it the achievement
The
cards?
achievement cards.
So I was able to achieve my card, and I spent.
We were all able to.
I spent my last 4 turns just trying to get that card because I had to do an alien planet, and aliens aren't aliens. It's bacteria that you have to be able to eliminate. Yeah, exactly, on another planet.
And I actually spent a lot of time getting onto an alien planet, but for a different reason. Is I needed to get all 5 different colors of planets.
Right.
And I'd already had 4 types, so I needed.
You had to do it no matter
so
what.
I'm like, I'm getting that.
And you had to colonize it, right?
I had to colonize it.
So then you have to be at that level.
In order for me to get that planet, I had to, like, it was literally around 10, and I got it at 16, because I needed to get all the way up to alien colonies on the track.
I
had to get all the way up to that point so I could colonize an alien planet, and I had to do the colonize action and get ships over there, and it was pretty far away, and I actually had to take like 2 or 3 turns to get there.
Yeah, you have to realize.
And I had to do extra.
I have to do 3 or 4 turns just to do this one thing, or should I try to speed it up? One thing I think is very smart about the game is where these bonus actions are placed. I totally understood once I wanted to do like energy storage, and then I realized, then I could also do that, and I understood exactly why they placed them in certain regions, and it made sense to me. Because one of the difficulties is sometimes remembering which various technology does what for here. Because I could see that, the quantum physics is the one that, I don't know why it's put in Roman numeral 2. It's a separate thing because it doesn't matter what your turn is. You could always do the mutation of material, but it's a very powerful thing to have.
And another slightly confusing thing is with the terraforming track, where it affects how many planets you can produce and your terraforming level. It's 2.
Right, it's 2 things that you're thinking about.
And that, or wait, I thought it was only 1. So.
And in fact, the third player that we played with today thought that colonizing also was involved with the track, and so that.
Because colonizing is really difficult.
Right, yeah, and terraforming is even more difficult.
Colonizing alien planets.
And so you were able to terraform.
I was able to terraform.
Two of the 5 planets.
And it was the first 2 I got.
That's the final word with this game, I think. You have to be very cautious. Yeah, you have to be very cautious and know that you're not going to accomplish a tremendous amount. You're most likely going to accomplish half of what you really want to do. I went into this game and said to myself, I want to go as far as I can. I want a lot of points for going to distant planets.
Get all of the far out planets.
And then I realized
no one got any.
No one got any because
you have to literally waste 5 turns just to get
there. Because you have to get your engine speed up enough. You also have to do galactic mapping and wish to map those distant places.
Which is kind of, I'd say, wasting of a turn.
It's a little bit, yeah.
But it does give you one of the 2, so.
Which is a way to get a little bit higher in the science. It's a very balanced game. I had a great time. We played 3 players in about an hour and 40 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer because we were trying to since this was our first game. But nonetheless,
it's just really hard to do things.
One last little thing that we were going to mention was that this card, which is very intimidating looking, and I think even when we did the unboxing of this video, Max said, "Oh, brother."
Because it looks like a stock market almost.
Right, you're like, "Oh, what is it?"
But it's really helpful.
If you can plan your game around this.
That's what I did.
That's what you saw. What is a planet?
Like, there's 2 planets out there.
Which ones do they?
Oh, that one's a good one. Let's go for that one.
What do you need to be able to terraform it? And then also, what would its benefits be? Because really trying to do production on anything more than...
because the points are a decent player.
Yeah, because you get into this game and you think, I can produce on 5 planets. No, your maximum, even if you...
3.
Is 3.
Even if you spend...
It's 2. It's just 2. It's just 2. Even if you get all the way up there...
Even if you spend 8 white, 2 or 8 matter... 2 energy and 2 antimatter.
The best you're going to do is be able to produce on 2 planets. So you have to gear what it is that you're going to be.
You have to decide what 2 planets you want to use.
So this is extremely helpful, and knowing again, you can't do too much in the game. Being very cautious about that.
And then going off of that,
okay,
is when early on in the game when I colonized for first, I terraformed my 2 first ones,
which was 19 and 5, I think.
Yeah, it was 19.5. I terraformed those immediately because they gave me an extra production benefit and a few points. And later on in the game, I just didn't have time to do anything else with terraforming my other planets. So I just used those 2 terraforming planets. And I almost never had cubes on any other planet besides those two.
Yeah, you were just producing on those.
It was just those two
I
planets.
produced maybe one time on planets, even though I tear. One last thing I really want to put in also is the artwork.
Oh yes, that's
The
beautiful.
artwork is beautiful, and it's super thematic. When you're on a planet, it looks pristine when you've colonized it, and then once you terraform it, it shows you that now there's a city where you're looking at. So it's almost like a time warp kind of thing.
And then with
One of the gas planets.
the gas planets in the background, when you flip it over, you can actually see in the background. You can zoom in. You can see in the background that the planet's actually cracking apart from
Overmining it, yeah.
From taking all the
or
natural
taking a lot of
resources.
stuff from it. One of the water planets or gas planets. So the artwork also superb.
Because it shows you just landing.
You're in a desert.
It shows you just landing in a desert, and all of a sudden it's a huge metropolis.
Which makes sense because when you colonize it, you're taking your spaceship apart to create the things that you see here. Fantastic game. You know, I'm not giving it a 2 thumbs up. I'm going to give it a perfect 10.
I'm going to give it an 11.
He gives it an 11. So that's 21 out of 20. Not so bad. Beautiful game. Kepler 3042. High five.
Ah!